Thank you for stopping by. I'm DJ Sak from K-Popin on Arirang Radio, and you are listening to our segment Casa Love. On Casa Love, we sit down with our guests and talk about K-pop lyrics, act out the situations, and give our own thoughts as well. We hope you enjoy this episode. We have special guest Steven and our weekly guest Tia in the studio with an also special guest as well. We're going to get into that in a little bit. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi, Steven.
Hi.
And we've got Moti in the studio.
Hello.
Hi. Moti's in the studio. Tia, how old is your fur baby?
She's 7 years old.
Moti's 7 already.
I know. It feels like yesterday when I got her.
Right.
Oh.
Now, for those of you who don't see us at the moment, you might want to turn on the camera because you can see how cute Moti is. But yeah, that is Tia's fur baby and probably just going to be sitting around panting away during the song breaks into the show as well. Steven, how was your week?
My week was very good. Don't know what I did, but it was good.
Our Steven is getting older too. When your weeks pass by, you don't know what happens, you're getting older. Tia, how was your week?
Same here.
I mean, the best of weeks are those kind of weeks.
I like it though. When you feel like you're busy and if I see someone and it's been a while and they're like, oh, how have you been? I'm like, oh, I've been really busy. And like, oh, what have you been up to? I don't know, but I've been busy.
I mean, as long as the busyness makes sense, you know what I mean? As long as it's not useless busyness, because I feel that there are definitely times where you can be uselessly busy.
Yeah.
Where just the world has it out for you. The universe just has it in for you where it's making you busy. Like your car broke down or you know what I mean? Like something broke or you have to call something to get repaired or you have to go buy something or, it's just or you have to go to 동사무소, you have to go get paperwork. You have to renew your passport. If it's that kind of stuff, then that's the most annoying thing in the world.
I hate it. And it's hilarious how it all happens at one time.
Oh,
yeah. Oh.
So I don't know how, why.
I'm not the only one.
Wow.
No, I'm not the only one. Steven, are you a Korean citizen? No, right?
No, I'm a Kyokpo, so mixed.
Right. So you have to go to
3 years.
Yeah, to immigration to update your thing.
Visa.
How long is the Australian passport?
Australian passport. My one, I think it's 10 years right now.
10 years. Okay.
Yeah.
I think American is around 10 years.
Yeah,
too.
it's 10 years too.
Okay.
Yeah. But somehow, some way, they like to expire around the same time. Within 2 months of each other.
Yeah.
And so you have to do them at once.
Yeah.
Well, the passport has to be done first. So even if your passport expires, note to people.
Thank you.
Yeah, note to Steven. If your passport expires after your ID card, your alien card of Korea, you have to get your passport done first.
Yeah. So sometimes why it ends together is because they won't give you more than if it's 3 years for your visa.
Right.
But if you have only a year left on your passport, they will only give you a year.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And then sometimes the dates coincide, which is really annoying. But yeah, just for future reference, if you ever come to Korea and your holding passport still has 2 months left on it, but your alien card is going to expire, do your passport first because you will have to redo your identification card because your passport changes.
Right. Oh, I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah. I never. You know what? I'll be very honest with you. Korea, because they are so efficient, and I go to one outside of Seoul, so I rarely run into big crowds, which is really great because I used to have to go to Mukdong, and that was just. But anyways, that's a whole different story for a whole nother day. Whenever I go, it's a quite pleasant experience, to be very honest. Considering it being a government office where you have to deal with paperwork, the people there are very nice. Technically it doesn't take quote unquote too long, but still it's the biggest pain in the butt.
It's never they made it where you have to make reservations now required, and I'm why you don't have any reservation days open, and yet there's people a million people there. What's going on?
Right. Oh, I'm glad that I'm not the only one that feels this frustration. I thought I was the only one. I was like, why does the universe have it out for me? Like, I don't understand what's going on here. All right, so we've got a really interesting song this week. So we're going to be testing Steven on his Korean skills. It's a long title.
It's a long one.
All right, so could you please introduce the song for us today?
Yes, today's song is 부처님 오신 날에 만난 기독교 그녀, which is Help Me, Buddha and Jesus.
So the direct translation for that from Korean is I met a Christian girl on the day Buddhist comes. So 부처님 오신 날 literally means the day Buddhist comes, and it's an actual holiday here in Korea. So it's just like the irony of two different religions
Yeah, like
meeting.
so this was made by Hyungdon and Daejun,
Yes.
and they're comedians, which is
DEF CON is actually a singer.
Right,
And a
but
producer.
it's kind of like
UV.
UV. Yes, it's that kind of like duo, right?
Right. So UV is like Muse is an actual musician. DEF CON is an actual musician.
Right.
So Daejun is actually a musician, though he might have a very comedic. Muse also is a musician, though he has a very comedic side. And they have both teamed up with comedians to create like a special subunit. And that is what Hyungdon이와 Daejun is.
I loved their team. It was very hilarious.
They still technically are a team. It's just they don't really release music as religiously as
Right.
other artists.
Right.
It's like they have to be quote unquote inspired. It's like UV too. Like after Itaewon Freedom and stuff like that, like they drop the most random songs at the most random times. But that's the whole concept. Like, because it's both of them, it's not their main income to do those songs. But I love the irony
Right.
of the songs.
I mean, the actual day of the holiday is the 27th of this month. So I believe that's why this
Yeah.
is the song for today.
Yeah, that's why we're doing it. We're not off that day, ladies and gentlemen, just to... The 29th, next Monday, is supposed to be like a fill-in red day for us. So it is a holiday, but we're going to be here. No worries. It's a live show. No worries. But yeah, I love when songs in any state give an irony, like a complete opposite, just like, oh God, like, oh wow. I'm very not keen. I was actually just talking to my staff about it. I'm not a very smart, like a sarcastic smart type of a person. So if I have a friend who is very sarcastic, I love them. I love sarcastic comedians too, because I was like, yeah, I could have never thought of that, but I totally agree. So we are going to probably talk about this in depth after the song break and our acting as well. But is religion a make or break for you in a relationship?
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh.
Really?
Oh.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting that, but
It's important.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, it's a
yeah.
make or
Yeah.
break. Okay. So both of you would like your significant others to follow in a similar
Belief.
religion or belief that you have.
Yes.
Oh, wow. So like IU is willing to marry Steven.
Where is it coming from?
I was seeing your eyes; they were shining, and I'm like, "What is she gonna say?"
I was like, oh no.
And you know what? The listeners love when I put Steven into these situations. So I'm going to keep putting him into these situations. So IU is willing to give her current entire like wealth to you, confess her divided love to you. You guys can get married. No prenup, no nothing. You have full access to her black card if she has it. But she's not Christian.
Well, I never had thoughts of dating her in the first place.
I know. Hey, this is just
But
the
yeah, no.
situation. Yeah,
Yes.
this is just a situation. But like, you know, like you've met the woman of your dreams. Like you really get along with her on all aspects. Like you feel that emotionally and stuff like that, you all click. But like kind of what we're going to be getting into
Right.
today, like let's say your mom is like a deacon of the church or like you know like your family is very heavily oriented with the church but they aren't or you know other way around, they're like a devoted Catholic, which might be similar but does obviously have very different you know standpoints in the belief. Would that be like, oh, you know what, I think we need to rethink this?
Yeah.
Wow.
But
I'm the same.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But I think I would like kind of look if this can be a changed situation.
Right,
Like, if
right.
that person is willing to, you know, change. But then if that person has, you know, no interest, then I'll just be like, okay.
Tia, you're the same.
Yeah, I'm the same. I have experience with the opposite of trying to work things out with someone, but it was too difficult.
Really?
Like, because I'm very strong on it.
Okay.
So for me, it's like either it's the same or like I've been very open as well. Like I will not marry someone who's not of my faith.
Oh.
And that's when troubles would be like, even if like they had no belief at all, they wouldn't be willing to even give it a try. Which for me was like, at least you could give it a try kind
Right.
of thing. I think it's more of religion as well, but just values.
Right.
Values in general.
Exactly. I feel that this is definitely, and I think we're going to definitely get a chance to talk about it today. The song is quite comedic, but they actually talk about like family in this, and I feel that it's kind of inevitable to feel that way, because I feel that if you, let's say, do not have any ties with your family, it'll probably be a lot easier to not really focus in on a faith. You know what I mean? As long as you don't touch each other. Like, let's say if a significant other for me, it's not necessarily a make or break situation as long as neither of us push it too much. So if like we're of opposite faiths and they allow me to go to church or they allow me to believe in what I believe, and I might try to convince them or, you know, try to show them that my belief is something that, you know, I take pride in and that, you know, I wish we could kind of see the same point. I feel that definitely, as long as you both are not trying to push it on each other, like any other value, you know what I mean? Like, some people think it's a little bit touchier, but I feel it's the same thing as like, you know, it's the same conversation with hobbies as like beliefs. If you need to hang out with the guys on the weekends, it's also kind of the same, though obviously it has a different like spiritual but we are going to be talking about this because it is a part of the song for today. It is quite comedic, the song, and the skit today is going to be really fun as well. But I do have a pre-question to Steven before we go in. So Steven, there's a wink in your skit. So when that happens, you're going to look straight at that camera and you're going to give us our biggest wink that you can. Got it?
Yes.
I heard his voice while you were explaining it. This is gonna be fun.
This is what I love about Steve, because he's an idol. Is when are we gonna get this? And then we're gonna probably make a shorts out of it or like highlight it, and we're gonna post it online so all the fans can love it as much as possible. This is what So what we're going to do is dive into our skit for today. Steven, you ready? You ready to wink?
Just need to warm up my eyes.
A little bit. Tia, you're born ready, right?
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah, she's born ready. All right, music, cue. Oh my goodness, it's been forever since the three of us have met up. How have you two been?
Good, I guess.
Yeah, me too. Same old.
Yeah, okay, so hold on. Y'all are trying to pull off, y'all are okay, but I can definitely sense that something's off. So what's wrong?
Oh my gosh, you are like a fortune teller. Well, we're in love, right, Steven?
Yep.
Oh, okay, so I hate to break it to you two, but like the whole world knows you two are dating. But like, what's wrong?
It's a very long story, so hold on tight.
All right, I'm all ears.
Babe, what are you doing this Sunday?
my family goes to church, and my mum is a deacon at our church, so my whole family goes to the church on Sundays.
Oh, my family is deeply rooted Buddhists. I do the 108배, the 108 vows each morning.
Oh, then we would have to go to church in the morning and then the temple at night, right?
Oh my gosh, we can't continue this relationship, but I don't want to break it up either.
I don't know what to do.
Isaac, help
Help us.
us.
어디가 극락인가
어디가 천국인가
우리 엄마 보살 니네 엄마는 집사
살다 보면 다 있는다.
That power ballad was Help Me, Buddha and Jesus. 부처님 오신 날에 만난 기독교 그녀. That was Hyungdon and Daejun, and that is our Casa Love for today. Special guest Steven's in the studio. We got Tia and her special guest, Mochi. So a lot of our listeners actually have their opinions for today's topic. So obviously we're talking about two different religions in the song. And Jake is saying, even if your partner is non-practicing, for whatever your religion is, as long as he or she respects your beliefs and is willing to try, it should be fine. CCG says, in my country, there's a lot of people who get married and still practice their own faiths individually and sometimes together. It's a pretty common thing. Now, Aaron is saying that does it require, I think, a little bit more work in the relationship than having the same faith? For me personally, I don't think so, because Jen, my wife, goes to church. She always has. I will go to work. Sometimes even if I'm off, she will just go to church without me. Now, Brown was saying that I think it requires respect and a mutual interest in the role of religion or life philosophy plays in each other's lives, which is no more than what I would expect in any relationship. Yeah. Nura was like, excuse me, 108 bows. Yeah, 108배 is. And there's a specific type of bow that you do for Buddhism, apparently. But yeah, that's done it. So yeah, we obviously learned earlier that both of you would just be like, it definitely would be a break for the situation.
I mean, for me, I think also because I have always, like, I have the dream idea of what I want in my family in the future. And the big one is like, oh, I want to have a family where we all go to church on Sunday together, and then we all like eat, like we pray at the table. That kind of thing is very like a dream for me. So I think that's why it's also very important for me personally.
Okay. Steven?
Yes, well, first of all, even though if I want to, my parents will not allow. Plus, just me kind of thinking that, oh yeah, maybe like she could open up to it in the future. The reason why I don't really kind of want to try that or do that is because my mum was a Christian and my dad wasn't.
Okay.
And then I actually grew up seeing her struggle, and you know, because my mum would be like, oh, just don't go to church. Oh no, my dad would be like, oh, don't go to church and all that. And then I saw my mum having a hard time back in the days. Now they're both Christians, so yeah. But yes, just me growing up seeing that,
It's difficult.
yeah, it's
Right.
difficult.
I think it's also one of the things like in the articles that we brought in today. It's interesting enough that the divorce rate, apparently in the States, they did a survey for divorce rates. People who both don't have religions is the highest. And then second comes
You can just read the statistics.
Yeah.
Oh, we just jumped straight into the statistics for today. Oh, look how we flew into that. Just flow naturally as water flows.
naturally. So 17% of non-religious atheists divorced within the 5 years, and then 9.8% would be Christians, and then 9.3%, pretty similar, is Catholic, and then 6.5% was Jews.
And Jews, that's like divorce is a very strict against divorce from what I know. I'm not a Jew, but from what I've seen and heard.
But the funny thing I found very interesting was the level of happiness between how often you participate in your religion. So if both parties practice together, or they have the same religion but not together, but you know what I mean, when they're both practicing, they're the happiest. And then when there's two non-practicing partners, they're unhappy. And the worst on the list was when only one side is practicing. And I think I've seen that a lot too. I've seen it personally a lot.
I think it kind of, and I know that hobbies in this is definitely a different serious level as well. But like, I think it's just about like the hobbies or what you have interests in. So it's just like, what if my significant other loves cosplay, like is obsessed with it? It's like, you know, they love trying to look for new games or new characters to cosplay. And like they invest so much time and money into that. It's the same with religion.
Yeah.
It's you invest time and money. It's like a hobby. You invest time and money. And if you're not able to understand that or respect that for each other, because it's going to be really hard to understand it if you don't try it. You know what I mean? Like you would have to try it or be a part of it or know enough of something to be able to be comfortable in letting your significant other do so. So yeah, I mean, I feel that it's going to be definitely different from a person to person, but it just the different views will definitely cause a void in a relationship, to say
I
the
agree.
least.
Yeah.
And I mean, religion doesn't always have to be a bad thing, but I just recently watched the hit drama Save Me, 구해줘, about a cult, like Christian-based cult type. It
I
was a
haven't
drama.
seen that.
옥태견 and Soyeji are the male lead, and it was an interesting drama. I think they did a really good job of just portraying what the very fine line in religions. But yeah, it was a great drama, like overall, is like prospectively. But I think like within the drama, it does kind of show, like even though you try to respect a certain party's views, it's really hard to fully support them if you don't understand it.
Right.
Yeah.
I've seen that too personally, where because when it comes to Christianity, we believe in the Savior. And if another person who doesn't have that belief, they look at us and, well, to me personally, they were like, that's not true.
Wow.
Like you can believe that, but I don't believe in that.
Right,
and
right,
then
right,
it's
right.
a kind of a trigger because it's like, I understand you have your beliefs, but like, you're denying mine.
Right.
in a way.
Right.
So that's the kind of
yeah.
that's the troubles that I think happen
Okay.
too.
So Tia already did one. So Steven, do you want to also just dive into one as well for the articles that you brought? Which one do you want to do?
Yes.
Because there's a lot of information that was brought into the studio today on both parties. Which one do you want to do?
Okay, so the funny thing is,
What?
I only saw this one.
That's okay.
Yes. Okay.
That's
so,
okay.
all right. This one says 부모님이 반대하는 연애.
Oh, so parents will be
Yeah.
again. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yes.
So like the percentage on what happens, what would you do in that case?
Okay, so Steven, give us the statistics.
So 부모님이 반대하는 결혼의 해피엔딩은 이 없다 is which is parents that
Disagree.
disagree with the marriage has no happy ending. Right?
So they would just end it.
Yeah, is 14.1%.
Okay.
Yes, and 부모님이 반대하는 이유를 들어보고 고민을 해본 후 결정한다. So parents that disagree after listening to the reasons and thinking about it is 59.3%.
So the highest.
Yes, the
Right,
highest.
so they'll try. So the kids will try to give their parents the benefit of the doubt, listen to what they have to say, try to figure out if they agree with the terms, and then kind of go from there. It's like a Romeo and Juliet situation.
Very. Yes,
Very.
very.
Yes. And then there's one which is so yes, this person is just going to keep on convincing the parents.
So to try to convince the parents.
Yes. Until the end is 19.4%.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Wow.
So we've been talking about religion here, but moving on to parents, because religion is another reason why a lot of parents probably will be against marrying or dating. Let's say, just hypothetically, because I know this is not true, your parents are a different religion than you two. So I know that there is a lot of times where the parents and the children have different beliefs.
Right.
Right.
and let's say your parents are Christian, but you guys are not, and your significant other is not as well, and your parents are against you two dating or even getting married. Out of the choices that we saw today, where do you guys find yourself? Are you just gonna accept the fate that, oh, my parents said no, sorry, or is it gonna be like, no, I'm gonna try to have an adult conversation, try to convince them, and then try to move on with the relationship? Or are you going to just try to convince them regardless? Like, how are you guys going to approach it, Tia?
If in the case that what you said was true, so I have different beliefs than my parents, I would try to convince them, I think.
Okay.
If I have the same beliefs as my parents and my significant other does not, then it might be the first one.
Okay.
I think, yeah, that probably makes a very big difference, I think.
Okay. Steven, what about you?
Yeah, I think I'll just keep on convincing.
Really?
Yeah.
So love over parents, pretty much.
Wait. So if the parents
Are against. Would
Are
you try?
against.
But you want to get
Right.
married. Well, how will you try to convince them? Are you just gonna let them? You're gonna be like, so if you want to get married, but your parents are against it. Are you gonna try to convince them? Are you going to just try to talk it out? Are you going to just blindly like, oh, sorry, mom said no. I'm sorry. We need to break up. Like, where do you find yourself in that situation?
So I think I will give the I think I will just give the whole situation more time so my parents can look at us and, just see more of our, like if we're kind of meant for each other. So I'll give them time to kind of think about it. Also, I'll obviously give our relationship time and not marry straight away.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll just give them time.
Okay.
Hola a todos, ¿cómo están? Estamos escuchando Arirang Radio desde Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Where are you listening from? Let us know. Leave it at arirangradio.com.
We're talking about difference in religion today, thanks to Hyungdon이와 Daejun's track, and my listeners are giving us a lot of fun feedback for today. I think this is like the most engaged we've ever been.
Like, I feel like we have a very diverse type of like listeners.
Yeah, we
so
do.
I'm so curious to what they're like
Yeah,
sending in.
Yeah, it's amazing right now. Actually, all these messages that we're seeing. So, CCG was saying, I've noticed that older generations don't accept other religions, especially when they heavily practice a certain religion. So if their child wants to marry out of the religion, they are probably going to be against it. For Nurse saying, my parent-in-laws were Hindu. My hubby converted to Muslim before we got married. Both of our parents accepted, and we respect each other's beliefs, and we've had no problems so far. So, Bra was the one that actually did this for a uni assignment. She's noticed that one of the biggest reasons for marriage separation is the communication style. So I think this does kind of play into what we were talking about earlier.
Right.
The religion part is just another one of those reasons of how you communicate in the relationship. Because they did a uni assignment on that last semester. Aaron says that I grew up in a house where we were actually free to choose our own religion. My grandpa was atheist. My mom was some sort of Christian. I'm a pagan. So honestly, it made it a lot easier to accept others' beliefs. But I do know that in rigid households, sometimes religion can be law, like the law. It seems that, let's see here. CCG was also saying, my dad had a hard time trying to get approval from my mom's parents, and religion was a big part of the reason. Yeah. So the big question that I wanted to ask before we went into the song break was, do you think people change? Because the reason why I asked this is because we're talking about convincing our parents when they are against a certain relationship. And we're also talking about convincing or sharing our beliefs with our significant others who might not be of ours. So my question is, do you think people change?
My answer is gonna get way too deep, way too quickly. Like, I think you should go first.
Okay, Steven, you go first.
This is hard because obviously I seen change happen.
Okay.
Yes, with my parents. So like,
It's not easy, but it's doable.
Yes, it's not easy, and I think it's like it's a rare case for my parents, that changed. So yeah, I do believe that people will change, but yeah, it won't happen
Easily.
and with anyone. Yeah,
Okay. Tia, what about you?
let's go.
Short and sweet. I believe in the power of prayer.
Okay.
So I think it is possible.
Okay.
If it was meant to be, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Bronte, sorry. I've been pronouncing it. Fam, any of my listeners, if I mispronounce your name or your ID, scream at me. I'm just... In the 17 years I've done radio, I don't think I've the amount of names I've gotten right off the bat has been very low.
That's the one thing, like when I was doing DJing stuff, I'm like,
Oh, yeah, we all be DJs.
Yeah.
how am I supposed to say this? I don't want to
I'm
say
like-
it wrong.
Right, and it's because a lot of different curse the English language. The English alphabet a lot of times doesn't give you the exact annotation of how you're supposed to read a certain name. So am I going to have to take a French approach to this? Am I supposed to take this Latin rooted? Am I supposed to take it like a Korean? What am I supposed to do to read this?
My favorite ones, the Korean usernames that are in English.
Oh yeah, I hate it.
It's like, did you just slam your keyboard and make that?
That's why in any script that I take, names of places and individuals have to be in Korean.
I do that too.
Right?
I write it again in
Right?
Korean.
Right? So I realized that when I was doing TV, they would Romanize Korean actors and singers' names in English, and I was like, Park Seo-joon. I was like, Park Seo-joon. it's like Song Hye-kyo. Oh, Song Hye-kyo.
Yeah, right.
And especially when it comes to be Chong or Tong.
Oh.
Romanizing those two, or the O's and the O's in Korean is
Yeah.
is it Chong, Tong, O, O, what? Yeah, it's ridiculous. Right. Anyways, okay, so both of you do agree that change can happen. Okay. So this could also be for the worst. So you feel that change could be for the best, but change could also be for the worst.
I mean, yeah.
Okay.
But I think, I stand by what I said earlier. I believe that good change is possible, always. So even if it takes a bad turn, it can come back.
Definitely. For religion, I feel that it's going to be, in the relationship even, it's going to be kind of touch and go because like the song we're talking about today, the reason why Buddhism and Christianity is put together is because Buddhism is very deeply rooted into Korea, and so is shamanism. And so even in daily conversation, it comes out.
Yeah.
So for me, what I've learned is when I first got to Korea, I didn't understand it at all. I was like, what is everybody talking about?
Right.
And I realized that you just kind of have to go with the flow, especially if you're living in a certain country that is heavily believing in a certain religion. Like Tia was saying earlier, you don't have to believe it, but I feel that it's the common courtesy to at least learn about the basics of it. It doesn't mean that you're believing it. It's like reading just another book.
You just know what goes on.
Right. So
Yeah.
you know the kind of the reference for it. Were there any shamanism type superstitions or Buddhist related things that you kind of saw commonly in Korea that stood out?
The red pen thing.
Oh, red pen.
Yeah, not writing your name in red.
Yeah, that's a
Oh,
superstition.
right.
Yeah, just ahead. If you ever come to Korea or you meet a Korean, never write your name in red. It's bad luck.
There's, I mean, like you said, there's so many that it doesn't pop up into my head immediately. It's very rooted.
It feels kind of natural now.
Right? Because you get those natural superstitions that
Yeah.
kind of are just embedded in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both of your parents Christian?
Yeah.
Oh, my dad is Catholic.
Okay.
My mom is Christian.
How is that? Because I know that
Right.
they are very similar, but they're also very different.
Yeah.
So my mom became Catholic with my father.
Okay.
And then she Korean church and it just naturally went into Christianity.
Right.
But because I think the differences within both religions, were not very important to my father or my mom.
Okay.
So like the big one is like Mary and all those kind of stuff. But the main concept of Jesus Christ is the same in both.
Right.
So that's pretty much what they just focused on.
Okay. Right. Because, you know,
Yeah.
both texts have been interpreted many times. So the way to interpret, I feel the way that you interpret it, as long as you feel that there's like a good core there,
Yeah.
it shouldn't really bother.
Right. I mean, they're both under the umbrella of Christianity.
Right, yeah.
So, I mean, I think there's similarities enough for that to work out.
Right. Okay. So yeah, you were telling us with that as well. Though they are Christian, do you feel that they kind of adapted a lot of the like Korean superstitions that they grew up with that are totally nothing to do with Christianity, but they were just kind of embedded
Yeah.
into their like just daily being that they find themselves doing it?
100%. My mom is 100% that.
Which one? Can you think of something off the top of your head?
Just everything. Like she doesn't do it anymore, but like the fortune telling. It's very common
처음-
in Korea.
처음 보는 거.
Or
Well, that's
or
just
the-
like reading your zodiac sign. So I mean,
Yeah.
that's kind that can be playful enough.
so like that.
But
or
yeah, that's
the,
very deeply rooted in Korea.
north, south, west, east, where you like sleep, that kind of stuff. Like it's not as much anymore, but like I could tell because that's what she was used to
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Okay, Steven, can you think of any?
Not really. I think the maybe north south.
Oh, how to place things.
Yeah, but isn't that scientifically like the way you sleep?
I've never looked it up, but I feel that there should be not like 100% true, but there should be some type of basis.
So
to
I looked it up, and then apparently
did?
it's it's
Oh, it
something
is?
to do with like the North Pole, and then your
The
blood
gravitational
flow,
pull.
yeah, or something like that. So if you sleep with your head north, you wake up with like a headache because your blood. I don't
See,
know.
I'll
something
agree
like
to that,
Yeah.
but a lot of the time they do it where it's when you were born,
Oh.
which way you need. I don't really agree with that one, but I could see that one being
Yeah.
true.
Okay. Okay. Well, see, we're learning something new every day. The funny one that I found is what to do with 제사.
Ah, that's a
Do you
big
guys
one.
do 제사?
No,
제사?
the
명절 때 제사.
giving the food to
조상님들
your
you
elders.
make like
right.
배랑 다 해서. Did you ever do that in the States?
Or in
Not
Australia.
not in
Or
Australia,
Australia.
but in Korea. Yeah.
Ah, with your other family members.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. No, so the reason I have a funny story. My every sister from mid sister up is Christian, and my grandma is a born again Christian living in the U.S. My grandfather died very shortly after I came to Korea, so he's been passed on for many years. And for his first 1 year annual the 1 year of his passing, we had 제사, and I just so happened to be there. We had the most Korean 제사 ever. Like we opened all the doors and so you open all the doors and windows. You make sure that there's no red beans because red beans, the color red, is supposed to ward away spirits. The reason why you use incense whenever you go to a Korean funeral, the reason why there's incense there is to keep the presence of the deceased there.
Right.
Yeah, that's why you use the incense, and then for Christians you use the flowers. But yeah, the incense are there because they want to keep the presence of the past. But yeah, we had the most extravagant 제사 ever. My entire family was making things from scratch, and I was just like,
That's a lot of
"But-
work.
no, but we're Christian."
Right.
And so I was like, what? I didn't know kind of where to match that. And I realized then that, that a lot of things happen in that situation. You mix and match kind of a lot of things you were brought up on. All right. Anyways, the music is playing. That means that PJ is saying that we need to get out of the studio. No. So Moji's going to say goodbye. We're going to get a chance to see these two back in the studio next week. So stay tuned for that as well. We'll see you then. Bye. Bye. I hope you enjoyed listening to K-Poppin's Casa Love today. Don't forget to come back for more fun content on Arirang Radio.